Another season begins and St. Bonaventure Bonnies basketball continues with another win. And man, am I excited to talk about the Bonnies. My roots, growing up from Western New York and finally get to see Schmidt coach. I mean, it's fantastic. There's some great transfers. I mean, we thought this was going to be a great season where we had all the returning starters back with Lofton and et cetera. And they decided to transfer out, go to bigger schools, one to Florida, a couple of Iowa State. We got one in, I think, Arkansas. And then, of course, Attaway heads to the pros. Bonaventure, we thought, was in some trouble. But the recruiting trail, I think, did pretty nice to them, Steve. And it initially looked a little rough at the beginning of this game against St. Francis. First, props to St. Francis. They looked really good. They always give St. Bonaventure a run for their money. Josh Cohen looked absolutely amazing. 21 points in this matchup. It was a good matchup. The final score 71-58. St. Bonaventure wins this one. And let's talk about some of these transfers and how good they played. First, I want to start off with Kyrell Luke. And he looks small. He's only 5'11". You think he wouldn't be able to do a lot, but man, if you just judge the book by the cover, you'd be completely wrong. 23 points, 5 assists. He was the Patriot League Rookie of the Year last year for Holy Cross.
Right.
And him taking that step up into the Atlantic 10 is really showing off. I mean, he is the facilitator. I know that Bonaventure was worried if they could find a spot to fill for Lofton. It looks like they found their guy. He had 38 minutes in this one, basically played the entire game, and not shocked that happened. Speaking of who played the entire game, and Steve, I'm going to pass it to you after this, Banks. The guy comes from St. Peter's. If you remember the magical run in March Madness, Banks was electric, and then he comes over to St. Bonaventure. He played all 40 minutes. He didn't leave the court. He had 14 points, 3 assists. He's going to be very fun as well. I think Bonaventure found their guards, and that's exactly what Schmidt likes to have. 2 guards that can run the ball. He doesn't like to go deep in rotations. I think he only went 9 in the first game, even with the fact that he had a lot of question marks trying to figure out his rotation still. And he still didn't go that deep. I think he went 8 or 9. Kyrell Luke and Banks are going to be absolutely amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what develops this season with this squad, Steve.
Banks, having watched him so closely when he was at St. Peter's, nothing he does on the basketball court surprises me. He was, and this is going to be so cliched, he was born to be a basketball player. I mean, that's the easiest way to say that. And you know what? You and I should both know better. Shame on us for even doubting that Schmidt wouldn't find players either through the portal or through his recruiting class to fill these holes. He knows the kind of player that he wants to coach. And he's not afraid, I don't want to say to take a chance on a guy, but to bring in a player that you would look at first thing and say, is this guy going to fit into the system or whatever? But somehow they do, but they still have that freedom under Schmidt to do things that maximize what makes each player special. So good on the Bonnies. I mean, that's great. If St. Bonaventure is what they have been over the past few years in the A10, that just makes that conference that much more tougher to keep 3 teams out of the tournament. I know we're saying, oh, maybe they'll get 2. I still believe there's going to be 3 coming out of the A10. And if what happened in opening night is any indication, maybe St. Bonaventure is going to be in the conversation to be that 3rd team.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when they take on Canisius on Saturday. That's always a tough game. We've seen some upsets in the past when we take on foes like Canisius and Niagara, etc. I really like what this Bonaventure team looks like now. It's not the same team that the fans of St. Bonaventure have seen for the past few years with this leadership. There's some big men who are now getting in foul trouble. That's not something that Bonaventure's used to seeing. That I know that we've talked about how Bonaventure has some good guards. The answer down low has not been answered yet. And I think that is going to be the question has not been answered yet, I should say. And that's going to be something that we're going to see for the next few weeks. Another last little plug here. Barry Evans was 3rd in minutes in this game. He is a true freshman out of Baltimore, Maryland. And when he got the ball, they tried to get him the ball a little more. and it didn't work out. St. Francis did a really good job at shutting him down for the majority of the game, but when he did, he was very impactful. 8 points in that one, and he had a few really key offensive rebounds. He is going to be very good. He's going to be a very good role player. When he gets the ball, he's going to make some very, very good plays. I'm excited to see what Bonaventure can do for this season. Again, like I said, they play again on Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. Canisius is 0-1. They did lose to Youngstown State 92-81 on Monday, so we'll see if Bonaventure can move to 2-0.